Hey, my favorite Accounting 121 students. I just want to share with you a quick video about exporting your QuickBooks files to Excel. I'm not a huge fan of the way the textbook asks you to do it, exporting reports into existing Excel files and updating existing worksheets. I find it to be a bit quirky and problematic. In my business, for my real clients, what I do is just export the reports from QuickBooks, each into their own fresh new Excel file, and then I combine those Excel worksheets into one file. So I just want to show you quickly a brief example of how I might do it if I were doing it my own way. And you guys can feel free to use this for your homework if it works better for you. So clearly what we're looking at here is the pre-existing Excel file that they provided you back in chapter 1. And you're supposed to go through and export each of those files. I'm going to show you instead how I do it, but we're going to use this as our guide to help us get started. So they want the trial balance. Let me go to Rock Castle and we will pull up the trial balance. Accountant and taxes, trial balance. And I don't recall what dates and everything they were asking for. I really just want to show you how to export to Excel. So create new. So we're creating a new worksheet in a new workbook. I probably should check a couple of my settings in here, right? Make sure you guys are choosing on printed report and screen so we can see those headers. It is nice to remove the space between the columns depending on what report you're doing. So that's kind of report by report. You might want to consider that one. And oh, I don't need that export guide every single time I export. There we go. Okay, so export. Okay, so now I have a workbook with just that one report in it. And what do they want next? They want profit and loss standard. Let me go grab that. So again, reports, company and financial, profit and loss standard. That looks good. And again, I'm going to go Excel, create new in a new workbook. Let me check if it kept my settings. Yes, it did. Okay, so let's go with that. All right, so now I have both of those reports in their own Excel workbooks. And let me go grab, I think, a balance sheet. Then I'll switch over to a couple from Larry's Landscaping. So balance sheet standard. Okay, that's fine. Excel, create new in a new workbook. Great, now I have all three of those. And let me just grab a couple from Larry's Landscaping. I'll just get the profit and loss. I know I'm skipping reports. I just want to give you a quick example. Profit and loss from Larry's Landscaping. And again, in a new workbook. So I'm just getting more and more Excel workbooks here, and then I'll show you how to quickly combine those tabs and organize them. And we'll do one more. Let's go with his balance sheet standard. Looks fine. And Excel one more time. I know some of your homeworks have you do a ton of Excel worksheets. So sometimes just organizing all of that can be its own task beyond just learning QuickBooks. It's a matter of managing all these Excel reports. So right now what we have, I've exported 5 different reports. Most of them are ones that we have listed here in our chapter 1 reports. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and organize and label them. I can actually take this sheet and use it. So I'm going to take this sheet and I'll make a new file with just that sheet in it. Looks a little bit different, but that's okay. Everything still looks fine. And I'll just call it chapter 1. And so we're looking for trial balance from Rock Castle. So that's this one, Rock Castle trial balance. So I'm going to right click down here where it says sheet 1, and I'm going to say move or copy. and I'm going to move it to a different book. And that book was the last one I created, book 17, and I'm going to move it to the end, so it's after the Start tab. So here I've got chapter 1 with my listing of the reports, and here I'm going to rename this one to match what it says here, C1.9.1 TB. So I'll go C1.9.1 TB. So now I'm essentially aligning this to match what it asks for here. And again, I can go back to my Rock Castle profit and loss, and I'm going to right click on the name of the tab, and I'll say move or copy. And I'm also going to move that to book 17 and move it to end. And now I've got my profit and loss. And here it says to name that E1.1.2 PL standard. So I go here, E1.1.2 PL standard. And the reason we're relabeling it is so that when you guys send it to me for grading, I can find everything according to this listing of different reports that are required by chapter. So if you can try to keep it organized in the same way, I don't care how you get the reports there. It's just a matter of organizing them so I can find them and grade them easily and your work is organized. So let's see, I'm going to go get the balance sheet from Rock Castle. That was this one, balance sheet. And again, I will move that. So I right click on the tab and I go move or copy. And I'm going to move it to book 17. I'll move to end. So now I've got my balance sheet there, and this one they want it named E1.1.2. Another thing I could do is just copy this, Control C, and then down here on the tab name, I can paste it right in. So that's an even faster way to get those tabs labeled and keep organized. So I've done the first, actually I did 1, 2, I skipped that one, I didn't do detail. Balance sheet standard, right? We should only put X's on the ones we really did, huh? Okay, and then let me do some of Larry's landscaping. We just did the profit and loss. Uh-oh, see, I forgot to export the header to the screen. So I only see that here, but I don't see it on screen. So that's shame on me. So I'll keep that for now anyhow. Move or copy, and again, I'm going to take it to book 17, move to end. And that was this report. So I'm going to copy that and I'll rename that tab. And yeah, I wish I would have put the header up there so I would know what report I'm looking at. That would be nice. And then we have one more report, which was the balance sheet. And again, I'm going to right click there, move or copy back to book 17. We're going to put it at the end. And this one is balance sheet standard. Let me X that because I put it in there. And then balance sheet standard, again, I'm going to just copy that. And I can go back to my balance sheet. I can double click on the tab and paste in how they wanted me to name it. And I'll put an X there that I've got that report. So clearly I skipped a couple of reports, but I quickly created a file that has more than half of my reports in it, and I've labeled and organized it correctly, except for on Larry's landscaping, I forgot to put the header on the screen. One more thing to recommend as you guys are doing your reports, a lot of your reports are coming through looking like this, with pound signs or what you young folks might call hashtags. If you see that on your reports, you just need to expand the column in Excel so that all the numbers fit. You certainly wouldn't want to send a report to a client that way because sometimes they don't know what to do and then the report becomes unreadable to them if they're not good with Excel. So as you prepare reports, think about what it looks like to your clients, not just me as your instructor. Luckily, I know how to expand the column and see the numbers, but think about the end user of your reports as you're working in the professional field. You got to think about your clients and their ability to read information easily. So then what I would do is I would save the file, of course, and they want you to save the file with your name and Chapter 1 reports 2018. So I would go back to our book 17 and I would hit save, and then I'd figure out where I want to save it. Oh, I don't know where I'm saving things. I got too many things open today. Desktop, and I'll go Chapter 1 reports and put my name. I think it's supposed to be my name first, huh? You guys probably know better than I do. And then of course save my report. So now I have all my work saved. I probably need to go back and fix up a couple things, but I hope that helps. Maybe looking at a different way of doing your homework and getting those reports into Excel if it's been giving you guys a lot of trouble. I think it's good to know multiple ways of getting the same job done. Anyhow, I hope this helps you guys, and we'll be in touch soon.